Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to the complete video tutorial for the LSP Glitter Wreath Multi-Layer Digital Background for Photoshop. This year it's all about the glitters, the golds and the deep reds. This digital background ticks all the boxes. All you need to get started are your baby image, Photoshop and the digital background, which you can download from the LSP website www.lsp-actions.com. As well as the digital background and this video guide, you will also get the PDF shooting guide, which gives you lots of tips when it comes to shooting for this digital. In this video, I'm going to be editing using the LSP Digital Background Photoshop actions. These are not included with the LSP Digital Background purchase, but you can get them separately at www.lsp-actions.com if you want them. But every step I'm showing you, you can do by hand as well, and I'm going to speak to you about how you can do that as we go. This video is suitable for beginners or those of you who really want an in-depth overview of how to get the best out of this digital. If you want to jump ahead and watch video number 2, that's a lot faster and is great for those of you who are more versed in using digitals or who have used LSP digitals before and kind of know what you're doing. So if you want to watch the faster video number 2, you can go ahead and do that. But I do recommend before using that you watch this video because I'm going to go through everything in so much detail. So let's get started. First of all, you want to make sure you have downloaded the digital background from the LSP website. Open up Photoshop, come to File, Open, and locate the digital background on your computer. This is the LSP Xmas Glitter Wreath Multilayer db.psd file, and hit Open. It will open up and look something like this. You need to have your layers panel active and visible for working on this digital background. If you can't see your layers, you need to come up here to Window and choose Layers so they come up. If this is your very first time on Photoshop or you're a complete beginner and you might not know what layers are, you basically have a background layer here and you have other images stacked on top that you can turn on or off. You see this little box here? You can turn it on to show an eye or off to hide it. But you can find out about layer masks and all sorts of things like that on the Adobe Photoshop website or on YouTube. So let's have a look at the layers panel here. You have the LSP base layer. That's this brown background here with the gold and the fluff in the middle with some glitter around the outside, beautiful as it is. Above this you have the red and gold base. You see it's got the little boxes unchecked, so you can turn this on by hitting this little box to make an eye appear, and you can choose the red and gold base. So whichever one of these you want to use. Above this you have the brown fur layer. So you see in the middle of the wreath you have brownish fluff. This is great if you've shot baby on the perfect posy. If you've shot on any other fabric, I'd recommend shooting baby on a dark fabric for this digital background. If you've shot baby on a cream or a light, it's going to be a lot harder to composite, but not impossible. It would just take you a bit longer. You can turn this one on and you will notice you have fur instead underneath the baby. So whichever one of these suits your image most, you can go for it, and also create different looks when posting to your page and supplying these for clients. Above this you have your baby here. This is where you need to place your baby image in, and we will get onto that in a minute. Above the baby we have extra glitter. Again, you can turn this on or off to make it really, really glittery and add that glittery depth. And you can add the extra darken too, which will make it even more sumptuous and luxurious. But even after you've added baby, you can play with these because you simply click them on or off. The layers remain active until you flatten this and save, so you can play to your heart's content. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the Actions panel. If you're not using the actions to apply baby, then you can go and apply by hand by coming up here to File and Place Embedded. It's really important that you've edited your baby image first, so go and do your usual skin editing, balance it out, make sure baby's nice and contrasty on a darker background. Don't place a straight out of camera raw baby in here because your blending's going to be off. So make sure you've edited baby first and saved before you do this. If you're following along with this video, please pause now and go and edit the baby image. And once you've edited, come up here to File, and choose Place Embedded, and this will open up your folders to find the baby image. I'm going to go ahead and switch the actions to button mode. Again, these actions are not included, I'm just using them because it makes everything so much easier, but it will do the same thing. This is going to place the baby. I'm going to find the baby image here and hit place. The light in the digital background is coming from the left. If you use your light camera right in the studio when you're shooting, you're going to want to right click at this point and click flip horizontal to make sure the light in the digital and the light in the baby image is coming from the same direction. You can also rotate baby at this point to make sure the light is really coming down at this angle here. When you're happy with the position of baby, hit enter. If you're using these actions, they will automatically resize baby for you. They're really useful. If you're not using the actions, absolutely fine. You just need to resize baby to fit, and you can always go back later and resize a little more. So I'm just going to have baby's head coming up here into those leaves. Make sure baby isn't too small in the digital because you want baby to be the main point of focus here. When you're happy, hit enter. At this point, if you're editing by hand, you're going to want to add a layer mask like this. And you can do that by clicking on your baby smart object layer here and clicking down here, this little box with the circle on it. This will add a layer mask. Layer masks are like scratch cards, so it allows you to paint or hide certain parts of the layer. This layer has the baby on it. Each layer has an image or is an adjustment. So this layer mask has been turned to black, meaning baby is hidden. So I'm going to grab a brush up here, make sure it's on white, and I'm going to right click and make that brush a bit harder. I'm just going to start brushing baby in. If you've manually added a layer mask, it will be white, meaning everything shows. You can invert this by hitting Control or Command I and turning it to black. Now, because I shot this baby on the Perfect Posy, which is available at Graceland Designs, it's a posing aid to use in the studio. It's absolutely wonderful for digital backgrounds. I'd truly recommend investing in one of these because, as you can see, I've painted baby on and already baby looks pretty much nestled in apart from this darker outline. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to a black brush. I'm just going to reverse the brushes here by clicking on this little arrow, and now we're on black. I'm going to shrink the brush down. And this is the point where you can really refine your selection. With Photoshop, there's always so many different ways to do things. This is just the way I like to mask baby. Some people like to, use the magic wand tool. Some people like to make a selection. Some people like to delete, some people, like to erase. It all depends on what you personally like to do. I'm just going to remove this little bit here. You can see I'm on a black brush. And because I'm on this layer mask here, you can see the shape is happening. I'm not actually affecting the baby. See, I can turn this on or off. And because we've placed baby in, baby is a smart object, which means baby retains the full clarity and the full resolution still. And you can also double click that smart object and edit baby further. If you notice the skin needs a little more work, you want to change perhaps some of the contrast or anything like that, it means you can do it separately on a separate layer. So once you've added baby in, at this point you can hit Control or Command T if you want to and resize again, but I'm quite happy with that. You have the layer mask here, and at any point you can double click the smart object and continue editing baby on a different image if you need to. It just keeps all your options open, it keeps everything completely non-destructive, and it means all your pixels remain as high resolution as they were when you shot. So next up, you're going to want to add some shadowing to baby. If you're using the LSP actions, you can click step 2 and 3, add the main baby editing layers. If not, you can come down here to the little circle with a line through it. This is an adjustment layer. And you can click anything to darken, brightness and contrast, levels, curves perhaps, whichever one you prefer to use. But I'm going to use the action, so I'm just going to click here on the main baby editing layers, and this will set them all up for me in one click. Saves so much time, means I don't have to do it. Let me just pull this out a little bit so we can see what we've got here. Again, these actions are available on the website, and I highly recommend them if you work with digital backgrounds. So you're going to need your brush on white to show these. I'm going to take the flow down a little bit, bring it up and make it calmer, just so everything's a little bit more gentle. So first of all, we're here on the gentle shadow under baby layer. So this is going to create shadows under the baby that will affect the bowl. So you can just paint these on. That's the gentle. You have heavy shadows too, if you need to make them darker. This will affect underneath the baby layer. Clever, right? And then up here we have shadows over baby. So this will affect over the top of baby only, because it's clipped onto the baby image. It means that I can paint up here. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to affect the baby. So keep clicking around, adding your shadows until baby looks nestled into the bowl realistically. Editing and editing until you are happy. So for example, the shadow, I'm just going to take that off the leaf. Black means hide, white means show on any of these effects. So just keep going until it looks realistic. There's baby on or off. Brown fur, brown background there. So I think at this point, baby is wearing brown. So I would go ahead and save this image now on the brown one because it works really well. You can do that by File, Save As, and choose Save as a JPEG image. This is already an sRGB colour space for your clients. Now if we want to use the red base, you may wish to change baby's outfit colour. If you've shot baby in a different outfit, perhaps they're in a wrap, maybe they have a hat on, anything like that, maybe they're holding a heart or a teddy. If you want to change any of the colours, using the actions, you can come here to blend the colours, and this will create layers to do that for you. If you want to do it manually and you're not using the actions, you can come down here and add a hue and saturation layer. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this LSP colour change layer here. Again, this is not included with the digital, but you can grab these actions on the LSP website. So it's painting on purple for now. That's because it allows us to see exactly where we're painting. So don't worry about the colour when it comes out purple. So I'm just going ahead and painting this on the baby's outfit. I'm being a little bit sloppy getting it on the skin, but I'm going to refine that by switching back to a black brush in a moment and painting it away, using a black brush to hide. So I'm just making sure baby's outfit is covered. I've switched over to a black brush here. Let's make the brush a little bit smaller by pressing the bracket key, or you can right click and change the brush's size. I just find it much easier to learn the keyboard shortcuts for Photoshop, because that way you can edit with one hand on the mouse or the tablet and the other hitting the keyboard shortcuts. For example, X, if I hit X on the keyboard, will switch from black to white and back again. Super easy. So I can simply be hitting X and changing from black to white as I go. It makes things so much faster than manually clicking every time. You need to come over here to the colour layer, double click this little box here, the little icon next to it, and this will bring up your hue and saturation, and you just need to slide this top bar to change the colour. Just going to take a little bit more of that away from the skin. And so these, you can just keep going, keep editing, keep going and going until you're happy. We could have green. Could go for red. Because the brown is rather dark, the red is rather dark, so come up here on the saturation, which is down from the hue, and just bring that up until you're happy. You can always duplicate this layer and add a green collar, do anything, absolutely anything you want, they're all here. And then again, once you're happy, come up here, File, Save As, and save it as a JPEG image for your clients. So that is using the LSP Glitter Wreath Digital Background for Photoshop. It's a multi-layer digital, and also the LSP Newborn Digital Background Photoshop actions, which are not included with this, but you can get them separately if you want to, but you don't need them. You can edit this by hand if you want to. And that is available at www.lsp-actions.com.